Hi.
Hi. So are you big or am I big?
Now it's whoever's talking is big. So this is the way
Oh,
to go.
really? Oh, so it's a different.
So yeah, so on my end, it's going to be whoever is talking. I don't know if you clicked on you or me, it stops that setting. I don't know why, but it does. So
Oh, okay. So come closer to me because you look.
it look blurry.
Yeah. I wonder if it takes a minute to.
Yeah, because on my end, I can see myself fine. Like it's definitely clear on my end.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. Hi, it's Christina Marie, the Biased Stepmom Peace Negotiator, and welcome to Expanded Consciousness Television. We are in week 4 of our 8 weeks of peace for biological mothers and stepmothers. And so our week 4 holiday spirit leader this week is Dr. Rachel Scott. Welcome, Dr. Rachel Scott. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you here. So, Dr. Rachel Scott, she is a mindset and performance coach, aka she is a transformational coach. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so she was specifically slotted for Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, ladies, because she has this amazing mindset and performance and all this information about the brain. And so today we're going to be talking about biological mothers and stepmothers and the whole week of Thanksgiving and how to really create your world as you want it. Is that correct, Dr. Rachel?
Yeah. So what I was so excited about being a part of this, especially around Thanksgiving, because it's so easy for us to get squirrely around the holidays over a few things, right? But what's one of those biggest triggers for us is family, right? It's amazing how we can revert into like our just kind of totally out of control selves when we
Give
get
me my bottle.
we get around those people we really love, and all of a sudden all of that really stable and put together mom stuff just out the window, right?
Right.
And so I am just always in awe of women who really are willing to step into the space of creating the kind of lives that they want. And what's always most powerful is when they create their relationships, right? So everything flows from relationships, and our relationship with ourselves is at the center of every other relationship. And what I'm so excited to talk about this week, and all the emails that you'll be seeing come out for me, is all about how it is that we can actually take the lead in having relationships that really invigorate us and energize us instead of draining us. So how can we take the lead in having a holiday experience that really feels good around the people we care about?
I love it. I love it because I'm all about feeling good. And so you're going to send everyone these emails, and it's going to be on really training your brain and really looking at things from a different perspective, having a paradigm shift, and really taking a stand for yourself and empowering yourself to recreate your holiday or this week as you would want it to be rather than the story. Is that correct? Am I?
Yeah. And so it's definitely about recreating and creating your experience with the holiday this week and the time up to the holiday and Black Friday and all that stuff exactly as you want to experience it. And it's less about using a mindset or a paradigm shift, and it's much more about how am I living? Who am I being? How am I acting? So the way that the world occurs to me, the way that I'm seeing this week, am I feeling like it's a chaotic week, an overwhelmed week, or am I excited and in gratitude?
Anxiety just thinking about it.
And the way that I see the week, the way that I kind of name the week in my head, ends up creating who I'm being. And so coming from a place of, we think about gratitude during Thanksgiving as opposed to chaos, really allows us to be in a realm of possibility that we otherwise couldn't be in. Okay, great. But how do you come from gratitude, right? I mean, isn't that the question? Is how do I take this very human body and brain and be in a place of gratitude when there's what gets us squirrely around the holidays is that there's all of these, on top of all the regular rules about who we think we're supposed to be and supposed to act and not supposed to be and how family is and isn't, on top of all those regular rules that we tend to make ourselves nuts trying to follow, the holiday has its whole extra set of rules, right? And everybody around us agrees, yeah, there's holiday rules and you have to live up to them, right? You have to have the certain decorations and the food and look a certain way, and the kids have to behave a certain way. And trying to chase and follow and live by those rules during this week I can guarantee you is a recipe for feeling really undone. And so what I want to give you is the opportunity to really like pause and take a step back and see how it is that you can access a whole different level of power to walk in there, to walk into an environment with your family and really be that space of peace that you end up taking the lead in.
I love it. And so I have two questions. So the first one is, so let's say I'm a biological mother and my child or my children, they're with their father for Thanksgiving, and I'm sad because in my mind, my children are always supposed to be with me on the holidays. Mm-hmm. So how would you help this mother?
Yeah. So that's great. So just like we talked, we just spoke to these rules that we have, and we have rules for our lives, and then we have extra holiday rules. And so this is a holiday rule, right? It's the holidays, and my children are supposed to be with me. And
well, keep in mind, Rachel, that I carried them for 9 months, and then I was up all night with them, and then I didn't sleep for like 2 years, okay, maybe 5. And so I really do feel that these children are supposed to be with me on the holidays. I'm that mom.
I get it, right? And that is there. And you know what? You could find a whole group of people who would be willing to hold up a picket line for your right to have those children on that day, right? And you could have that whole picket line around you and you'd still feel like crap sitting in that story, right? So I get it that this stuff feels really real, and it feels really justified, and it's hard to see around it. But the question is, what are you committed to this year? Are you committed to having a different experience? Because I understand that story is compelling and we're drawn to it, but it still leaves us in the same place each time. Right. And so I can't even be the kind of mom that I want to be when I have that running through my head and how justified I am, and look, 9 months and 2 years and all of that takes away from my ability to just be present with whoever I am with this year.
Yeah. Totally. And it's a free day. If your children are with their father, it's a day to really be free and just to take a breath. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to be a stepmom. And oh my goodness, we're not going to get the kids until 3 because mom always has to have her way and she has to have them first. And then we have to split the day. And then all we do is drive. And then we get to my husband's family's house and everybody acts like I don't even exist.
Right. So there's that. Right. So there's all that energy around it. So it's all wound up. And this is what we're going to begin to get into in the emails this week, is the way that the mind works, because it's really helpful to see that the mind just tends to operate on autopilot. So if I have a story about myself as I'm the stepmom and I'm not really appreciated, and I always kind of just, I have to go along with whatever flow everybody else creates, or whatever that might be. The mind operates in a way that it's really committed to defending that story, no matter what. So if you think about it like, it actually becomes a filter, like a filter for light. So if you think about, if you've ever seen just one of those pieces of plastic that are kind of tinted, right? So if you hold it up to a light, that's the only color that will stream through, right? You have an orange filter and you hold it up to the light and all you're going to get is orange. That's it. You cannot get blue once you put that up there. And so this stepmom who's thinking about the day, I mean, that's like you putting the orange filter up to the light. And so what she's really wanting to experience is a blue day. She wants a red or a green or whatever, right? She wants to experience that space where she's connected and feels a part of, and has that sense of worth and appreciation and all of that stuff. And yet it will never happen with that orange filter.
Right.
It's like it changes the frequency that we're in tune to. So it's funny, because the mind has this job of protecting the story that I've built up, we actually end up recreating that. So that story about me being a stepmom and kind of being brushed to the side gets louder and louder because I'm busy what happens all day before I get there at 3? I'm working on polishing my story. I'm like buffing it out. I'm getting ready. And so as soon as I come in and so like raises their eyebrow kind of weird, I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah. But I think actually it happens like the night before. It's like, oh, Thanksgiving. And then you wake up in that,
Right. And I always say that the morning really starts the night before. Absolutely. This stuff can fester not for hours, not for days, not for weeks, not for months. This stuff can fester for years. But it's also incredible how quickly we can recreate our worlds and really live from a space of transformation. Because when in that moment when we realize, oh, there was that thought about who I am as a mom or a stepmom, or how the holidays are. There was that thought, and we just watch it go by. And the moment I realize I'm not my thoughts, that they're just happening, it gives me a place to pause and then go, well, what color tint do I want to put on the light bulb today?
Yeah, but what about those moms? Because, you know, there's this place where your thought, all of a sudden your body's like this. You know what I mean? So the physiology of it, it's like when a mother, because the mother has this essence where, you know, her children are kind of her life in a sense, especially at a certain age, and vice versa. And so when she is being triggered by whoever, even a stepmother, because stepmothers have their own children too, you know, there's a physical response to the thought. So, and sometimes, you know, we women, we're not pristine like that. It's not like, oh, I'm having a thought, let me catch it before my body starts to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, before you can get, I don't know, like, how do you distinguish, like, because, you know, when you're already there, right? And so to get backwards into that, so if you're talking about the brain and talking about your thoughts, like, I wish my thoughts were like that, like, oh, look, a pretty thought, oh, look, an ugly thought, let me just let it fly, you know what I mean? But the truth is, when I'm hormonal, it's a little more deep than that.
Or around the holidays, right? When it's energized and all that stuff. So I have I have a pit bull who's she's 4 years old now, right? And she is a sweetheart. But when she's around other animals, she just goes mad. She loses her mind, right? And we took her to this doggy boot camp, which was supposed to be for just a week. And the woman at the doggy boot camp called us up like a weekend, and she said, yeah, I never have to do this, but I'm going to need a second week. And she's just that.
That's such a special doggy.
Such a special doggy. Okay, so she brings us in to train us, the people, right? So we can,
of course,
we can keep this going when we bring her home. And she starts to talk about, she said, okay, well, when you take her on a walk, what's going to happen is, right, she's laying on the couch, say, and then you say, let's go for a walk. And so her activation level goes from like a 0 or a 1, and let's go for a walk. Okay, now it's a 3, and she's like moving around. It's a 3, and then we're out there, and she sees a squirrel, and she's like, oh, a squirrel, and now it's a 4. And I'm like, okay, stay calm. And she's like, I'm calm, but it's a 4. It's a 4. And then she sees another dog behind a fence, and all of a sudden it's a 6. It's a 6, right? So this stuff builds up. Right. And so that's what it's I love your question, because it's so good to, if I'm just aware, like, yes, around my cycle or around the holidays, like, I'm going to be at a 6 or an 8 or a 9. And can I be okay with that? Can I be okay with the fact that the thoughts are flooding, that I have created? I'm not saying stop the thoughts. That's a hopeless game. That's hopeless, because the thoughts will come until the day you go. At least that's been my experience. No matter what work I've done, the thoughts are there. And the question is, can I be okay that they're happening? Can you
even accept the thoughts?
Right. Can I just go, okay, like, I feel like I'm at a 9. Okay, I'm at a 9. Right? Like, I mean, this is like we have this experience, like, where we wake up and we're like, we hate everybody and everything, and then we start to freak out that we hate everybody and everything, and later in the day we realize, like, oh, I got my period. And it's like suddenly okay that I hate everybody and everything because I have a reason. So what if you could operate from a place where you gave yourself permission? You were allowed to feel what you were feeling, whether or not you noticed, oh, I got my period. And if the ladies this week, really, if you give yourselves permission to experience what you're experiencing this week, it's amazing how it just passes. Every time.
I love that. So give yourself permission to be where you are.
Exactly, because it's in the fighting it that things,
without injuring anyone, right?
yeah.
I mean, do no harm.
in a padded room, right? So, but it's there's so much suffering and so much pain that can come from simply trying to push our feelings down or change them, and yet if I just go like, I hate everyone right now, it's like it's gone.
Yeah. No, I've had that experience. Yeah, that's good stuff, Rachel. Very good stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to your emails this week. Is there anything you would like to say to the ladies before we go? you know, we covered the bio mom and the stepmom, and then we covered the brain, beyond the brain to the physiology of our body responding, and how to accept where you are, no matter where you are, that's where you are, and I love that. And then, so is there anything, as we start this week with you giving us our morning inspiration, is there anything you would like to say to the women to prompt them for when they wake up and get your message?
Yeah. So I think the last thing I want to say is to really share about how you have the opportunity and the power to transform your relationships. And it may seem like there may be that person in your life or those people in your life that you say, you don't understand, right? But we all have those people, right? We're all probably laughing on the other end of the screen. So that means we all understand. We have those people in our lives.
I'm going to stop you for a minute because I've heard that, and I probably have said that but you don't get this person. Like, you don't understand. And so I just want to ask you out of my own curiosity. So what do you think that is? Like, you don't get it. Like, where do you think someone is in their development that's like, is it just like a repetitive experience after experience after experience? Or is there like a certain level of consciousness? Like, what do you think? I'm just curious.
You mean for the person who says you don't get it?
Yeah, like I'm telling you, you don't know who this person really is.
Right,
like
right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's the same as I'm busy defending my story. My story is that I don't have power to change this. And it's funny, we all want to think that we're really committed to living deep and meaningful and bold and playful lives. But the reality is that for most people in this world, a lot of our time, myself included, right? A lot of my time is actually spent hiding from the truth of how powerful I am. And so I'll live inside a story that you don't get it. I just can't get along with this person. I can't work out this marriage. My kids are just too challenging. You don't understand. And especially at this time of the year when we are just never going to be around more family, right? And all of those people that we don't necessarily normally see, and all of the extra holiday rules where now we're measuring and weighing, and am I fitting into that, and all the stuff about being a mom or a stepmom, and are my kids where I want them to be, and am I getting the affection or giving the affection that I think needs to be given? All of that ends up feeding into what I think I need to defend about my powerlessness. And what I want you ladies to understand is simply how powerful you are to recreate relationships. I had this experience with my brother over the years. He and I had not had this, we hadn't been super close. And I had this steadfast story about him that he is, I said, my story was, we're so different. He's just so aggressive, and he doesn't want to listen. I mean, I had all of these reasons, and again, I could get a picket line of people to defend me and say, she's so right, look at him, right? But that wasn't going to get me anywhere. And I got clear that what I wanted was to have a relationship with my brother. Yeah. And so I made a commitment to be willing to be, not just think different, but be who I needed to be to recreate a relationship with him. And that meant I had to level the playing field. I had to scratch out those old ideas I had of him. And I found myself, one of the ways, so I messaged him and I said, hey, let's hang out. I'd love to spend some time, which was kind of out of the ordinary for me. Yeah. And we started hanging out, and we ended up like, he had some house projects to do. He had like a ceiling fan to hang or something. So we're up in his attic, like scrunched over all this fiberglass, and we have like 4 flashlights, and he's like, drill, and he's, and here I am having committed to recreating my brother. So instead of drill, and I go, oh, he's so bossy, God, no respect for me, right? You know what happened is I came away from that day like in awe of this process, because I came away from that day realizing that I had seen a side of my brother that I'd never seen before. I saw him putting in that ceiling fan, and I thought, gosh, he is so patient. I'm never that patient with projects. He was just so willing to, I mean, he put a few things, and, any do it yourself, right? It was like, it was wrong the first 4 times. And he was so like, he just pulled out the instructions and he said, can you hand me this? Can you hold that? And I came away with such a deep respect for him, and such realization that he had so much to offer, and I had so much to learn from him. And it really became a foundation from which we shifted our relationship. And I'm so clear that my brother wasn't suddenly a different person.
No, it's exactly the same. You just opened up. I love that. I love that because, I always see my brothers like, siblings especially, we grow out with them. So we can totally regress with our siblings, but I love to show out with my brothers. Like, I wonder who he is today. And then like next time I see him, I wonder who he is today. And so every time I see my brothers, I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm in for discovery. And this is not the little boy I grew out with, although sometimes we banter, which is fun. So I totally love your story. Totally love your story. I get it.
That's phenomenal. I love that. Who wonder who he is today. What if in every encounter this week, and I'll put this out as a challenge, what if in every encounter this week, the ladies who are watching this ask themselves that question? I wonder who they are today. I wonder who he is today. I wonder who she is today.
I love it, Rachel. That's great. All right, awesome. So I think we're done. I could just talk to you forever.
But we'll catch up again for another one.
Yeah, actually, we're going to do a special video either the night before Thanksgiving or the morning after, so that Rachel can once again come and, in case it didn't go so well, because that happens too, and that's okay. We'll have some more stuff for you. So thank you, Dr. Rachel. Appreciate it. You're wonderful. You're spectacular. And look for her emails all week in the AM all week long for week 4. All right, bye, ladies.
Bye.
Oh, we rocked it, girl.
It was so good.
We're so good.
I'm totally going to use that autism story in one of my videos for the week. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a great story. But I really
yeah, it's better for during the week when people are going like, recreate what?
Yeah. And then my nephew and my godson, he has autism, and he's only 3. So my sister-in-law's she's getting into the autism awareness stuff, and she's really embracing him. So it would be very good. I would love that if you shared that with the women. Totally. So I want to introduce you to Stella Vera. Stella Vera is my TM teacher. I'm actually at her space right now, the TM Center. Hi. So that's Dr. Rachel Scott, and she wasn't in for the first time we tried to do it. So Rachel is a mindset and performance coach.
Wow.
So she's a transformational coach.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You look beautiful.
Yeah, she does.
I'll do whatever you say if I can look like you.
And so Stella Vera was gracious, and her husband, he's a teacher, and he's studying to be a doctor, actually, a Vedic doctor. Do you know? Well, do you know what that is?
No, what's a Vedic?
Well, you're gonna know, because when you take the 8 weeks of peace, you're gonna know what everybody's doing.
All right.
So I'm just here in their space, and so I'm going to let you go, and you're gonna send that to me.
Yes, I'm gonna. So whenever it posts to YouTube, I'll send you the link. Yeah.
I actually Stella Vera says goodbye. I actually like the fact that I'm small and my guests are big, because it really is about promoting my guests.
Well, we'll have to see how it plays. It should play. The way it was coming up on my screen was that whoever was talking was big. So that's how it should end up playing. So we'll
that's kind of fascinating too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so excited, Rachel. I'm so happy that you're on board. I'm so excited we connected. And so I'm going to go now and give Stella Vera back her space.
Okay.
I don't have to.
I gotta go to. It's 10:30 over here. I gotta.
Oh, she's on the East Coast. All right, honey, go to sleep, and this was wonderful. And then we'll connect and we'll finish it. Okay.
Okay, fabulous. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.